Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I'm excited because we've got a guest coming up on the program. We're going to be talking with Todd Nelson from Lightstream about home improvements. And he's one of the guys that says, here's how you can help finance and, figure out a way to pay for that stuff. So I'm interested in learning all about that. And we got our quote for today. Let's do the whole darn weekend. Saturday, April 1st, the quote is, I learned pretty soon that it was essential to fail and be foolish. Daniel Day-Lewis, 3-time winner of Academy Award for Best Actor. Only person to ever win it 3 times. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Also, Sunday, April 2nd, the quote is, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks, and then start on the first one. Mark Twain.
Okay.
So I think it meant breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into smaller ones. That's what he said. Not what I said. All right. Coming up, we got some special things going on this weekend. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you never asked. Let's do the whole darn weekend. Saturday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, also known as All Fool's Day, Atheist Day, Boomer Bonus Day, International Tatting Day, Library Snapshot Day, Miles Day, National Fun Day, Poetry and the Creative Mind Day, Reading is Funny Day, Sorry Charlie Day, Saint Stupid Day, I don't know who that is, U.S. Air Force Academy Day, Every Day is Tag Day, International Pillow Fight Day, National Love Our Children Day, and Tangible Karma Day. Now Sunday, the 2nd, International Children's Book Day. That's cool.
Cool.
National Ferret Day, National Love Your Produce Manager Day, National PB&J Day, Reconciliation Day. After you get in trouble for pulling pranks on people, you're going to want to have the reconciliation the next day. World Autism Day and World Autism Acceptance Day. A lot of stuff going on this weekend, so celebrate accordingly.
John and Heidi.
How much do you pay for cable or satellite? Don't forget your DVR rental fees and online movie accounts. When you add it all up, many people are paying well over $100 a month. Some pay way more. What if you could cut that down to zero? There's a device that surfs the net to find shows and programs you like with no monthly fee. Many have already cut their cable or tossed out their dish. If you have internet and a TV, you're all set. Learn more about this awesome technology that can save you money every month at channelsurfertv.com. Use promo code RADIO to save 25% at channelsurfertv.com. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Take a listen to this. Milwaukee's John J. Miller filed for bankruptcy in 2004. He wasn't happy with how his case was handled, so Miller sued officials in U.S. District Court, and he lost. Then he appealed, and he lost again. Well, just recently, Miller's request to reopen his case was denied. Miller's next plan was to write letters threatening to kill the judge who handled the case, and he threatened to blow up a courthouse. Miller took his brilliant scheme and his handwritten signed letters to a Kinko's to fax them.
Oh, wow.
While signing the letters was a dumb thing to do, it was even more stupid to leave the originals on the Kinko's fax machine. So they found them and they're like, whoa, this isn't good. Miller will now be enjoying some free room and board for a few years. He'll be behind bars for quite some time. He was threatening to kill a judge.
Wow.
This is all from a bankruptcy case from 2004. And he just wasn't happy with how that all ended. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but to be angry is one thing. But to be that angry?
That's a little over the top.
Yeah, you might need to, take a little break and breathe in, breathe out, all of that good stuff. Anyway, yeah, that's a dumb idea. Have you ever done anything stupid? Maybe not that stupid, but where you signed your name to something that maybe you shouldn't have?
Oh, yeah.
I did that once in 3rd grade. A kid was picking on me, and he and I are friends now, but we were like fighting back and forth, and I wrote a nasty note, and I walked by his desk and set it on the desk, and I went and sat down, and as soon as I sat down, I saw him pick it up and walk up to the teacher, and at that point I realized that was a very bad plan, wasn't it? So she grabbed me by the ear and dragged me to the principal's office. I don't think my feet touched the ground. She was a little old lady, but she had some strength in her arms. I was in so much trouble. That was a bad idea.
That was a bad idea.
You don't do that. But I learned a lesson early in life that you don't do that kind of thing. So just be nice to each other. Anyway, this guy didn't, and he gets to go to jail. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. Steve Schwartzmiller, the police chief of New Regal, Ohio, was trying to get some sleep, and at 2:30 in the morning, he heard the sounds of somebody breaking through his front door. He grabbed his service sidearm and went to investigate. He found a man sitting at his piano, playing it quite well, by the way. The man told the chief, "I need a ride." Well, he got one in a patrol car to jail. 19-year-old Sean Chadwell was charged with burglary and underage drinking. Officers say Chadwell was looking for a party and went to the wrong house.
And then how did he get burglary?
Because he broke into the guy's house.
But did he break in or did he just get in? Like, did he just wander in drunk?
He wandered in drunk, but that's still breaking and entering. So,
But it was a mistake. He was drunk.
so anybody that's drunk that makes a mistake, you should say, okay, well, never mind then. You didn't mean to break in.
Well, you had a guy that broke into your house.
I didn't call the police.
No, he made a mistake. You
told
told
him
him
to-
you're in the wrong house and he left.
Yeah, it was weird. I woke up one morning, this back when I was young and single and stupid, and I left my door unlocked, apparently. I woke up in the morning and there was a dude sleeping on my sofa. I was
That
like,
kid,
whoa.
though, is darn lucky he didn't get his head blown off.
Oh, yeah. He was playing the piano, and apparently he's a good pianist, but not a very good, doesn't think things through, or he wouldn't have been, 19 and drunk in the police chief's house. It's a bad idea.
Poor kid.
Yeah, but that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. The unidentified crook in Braddock, Pennsylvania was a regular at Al's Market, but he was a little short on cash when he came in to buy some potato chips. Al said, go ahead and take the chips.
Aw.
He promised to pay him later, and he did pay him back later. True to his word, the man returned about 1 minute later with a bandana over his face, and he put
Oh,
a gun
my
to Al's
gosh.
head. The 60-year-old Al fought back and subdued the guy. Then he held the gun on him until the police arrived and arrested him. So what thanks he got for telling the guy, you know what, go ahead and take the chips. You come here a lot.
Good Lord.
We'll let you have those chips, and you're good for it.
Some people.
That wasn't very nice of him. And it was really nice of Al to let the guy do that. But, anyway, that happened in Pennsylvania.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. A South African man bit his way to freedom after he was attacked by a python that tried to squeeze him to death.
Yikes.
He got the python to let him go because he started biting the python. It's, better than, dying, I guess. But can you imagine biting a python? That doesn't sound like fun. Does it?
No,
No, not
but
at
I
all.
wouldn't ever be somewhere where pythons are
Yeah, me neither.
kind of just roaming on their own anyway.
Steer
So
clear of that. A Neiman Marcus security guard apprehended a young woman who shoplifted a pair of jeans, and she started yelling, "It's too late! I already left the store." That's not how it works.
not how it works.
No,
No,
once I get out the doors, I'm ollie ollie oxen free. I'm home free, so you can't do nothing. No, wrong. They can still arrest you. Jeff Bezos, you know who that is?
I have no clue who that
Guys that started Amazon, I believe, is who that is.
is. Okay.
Second richest man in the world. He overtook Amancio Ortega and Warren Buffett. Now, Bill Gates is still the richest man in the world. Guess what his net worth is?
What?
$86 billion.
Nice.
And Warren Buffett gave a bunch of his money away. So I'll bet if he didn't give all of that money away, he'd probably be the richest man in the world. But I don't know. Somebody that's smarter than me could tell all of that stuff. A special campaign is underway where teams of climbers are collecting all the trash left on the top of Mount Everest by previous expeditions. So there are people who are going to be going up and down Mount Everest just getting all the garbage off there that people left.
And how on earth are they going to get all that down?
I don't know. They're going to bring a bag with them, I think.
Yeah, and they're going to carry bags and bags of garbage
I think
off
they
of
should
the
just,
mountain?
push it and let it roll down. That's how I'd do it. I have no idea. But maybe they'll use a helicopter. I don't know. I have no idea. But a special campaign to clean up Mount Everest. Again, apparently, there's a lot of junk on the side of that. And when you go up, you've got stuff to eat. What do you do with that thing? What do you do with it? I suppose you carry it back down like a responsible
you carried
climber.
it up, carry it back down.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Unless you died on the mountain.
Well,
then you
there's
can't
some
take
of
it
that
anyway.
too. There's
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
some people there. All right, a study finds that about a third of new parents lose the equivalent of 2 months of sleep during their baby's first year.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that. 1 in 5 parents said they lose more than 3 hours a night. Almost 3 full nights a week is what they lose. So could even be worse for some. We have talked about burglars who have fallen asleep in homes numerous times, but I think this one takes the cake.
Oh my
this one
gosh.
is from Australia, down under. Guess what they were doing?
What were they doing?
Well, some burglars broke into a home, and before taking off with the loot, they paused to get in bed, but I don't think they were taking a nap. They got frisky in the victim's bed. Now, here's the worst part. They had a house sitter that was hired to keep an eye on the home who slept through the entire burglary and the, other stuff.
Huh.
So the house sitter is not a good house sitter. How do you know you hired the wrong house sitter? That's how you know, right there. If that happened while you were gone, yeah, that's how you know. And finally, when it's time to go back to work, if you have the flu, consensus among experts is if you're contagious 1 day before the symptoms begin, they say you're also contagious for 5 to 7 days after becoming ill. So they're saying you have a weakened immune system. You may still be a little bit infectious for a bit longer. So they're saying if you develop complications from the flu like pneumonia, that may even extend the contagious period for a week or two. So the general rule is this. I guess I didn't know this, but they say stay put until you have been fever-free for more than 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So I understand that. And you need to be fever-free without the assistance of temperature-reducing medicine.
Yeah.
So if you're still taking medicine to make it so you're feeling better, you're not ready to go back to work yet. So there you go.
That's pretty much common sense, isn't it? I mean, I thought everybody knew that.
Not everybody, otherwise they wouldn't have this here for me to read. Now everybody knows. See, we just did our part to educate the world, Heidi.
There you go. That's awesome.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.
John and Heidi.
Imagine the sand between your toes and an ice-cold drink in your hand. Join us this November for 80s in the Sand.
Week-long event with 80s music from over a dozen awesome bands.
Plus, meet 80s icons from the movies like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
The website is 80sinthesand.com.
Book your week-long 80s vacation right now at 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a guest joining us today, Todd Nelson, a Senior Vice President of Lightstreams, and we're going to be visiting with them right now about something that's kind of cool, home improvements. This is the time of year people do that. Todd, how are you doing, sir?
John, I'm great.
Now, you guys have done a survey for several years now, talking to people at this time of year about home improvements. How long ago did you start doing this survey?
So this is our 4th year for the home improvement survey that Lightstream does.
And what are some of the major findings that you guys have discovered this year? Are there any things that are different than last year?
Yeah, so over the last 4 years, we've seen a steady increase in the number of homeowners who said they were going to spend money on renovations. And this year, that number was 59%.
Wow. So there's people saying, hey, it's time to do some updates.
Time to do some updates. We asked them specifically, well, what kinds of projects are you going to tackle? The most popular item this year were outdoor projects. So whether it was decks or outdoor living, outdoor kitchens, landscaping, that was 41% of the people we surveyed. The second most popular projects were home repair and renovation, things like technology upgrades. Right, to make your house fully wireless, to add solar or energy efficiency products, and that was 32% of the people that responded. And then traditional things like kitchen and bathroom remodel, about a quarter of the people that we surveyed said that they were going to tackle one of those two projects this year.
That's awesome. So the people that are going to be doing all of this, when they start diving into this, they have quite a project ahead of them, but it's a good idea when you're making these renovations to have a plan, isn't it?
For sure. Budgeting is really important. I mean, we saw some data from the Harvard study that came out last week that last year there were $361 billion in home renovation projects. That's a big number.
That is.
And I would tell any homeowner out there, the first thing that you have to do is come up with a budget. Be realistic about what you can afford and what makes sense for your home. Do your homework and then stick to it. Right? It's very easy as you start a home improvement project that might have started out at $15,000, but now you decided to upgrade, the cabinets, or maybe you want to upgrade this and that, and suddenly your $15,000 project gets to $50,000.
Yeah.
You have to be very disciplined, too, around that budget process.
So a lot of the people that are tackling these projects, do they typically have a nest egg they're tapping into, or are they financing something like this?
It's a mixed set of answers. So we heard from the folks that we surveyed that 60% of them were planning on using savings to pay for their project. And that might make sense because a large number of the projects that we're going to tackle were relatively small dollar, maybe less than $5,000. But a full quarter of the people that we surveyed said that they were going to tackle a project that was $10,000 or more. And so, tapping into your nest egg in savings might be a little bit dangerous. And so if you've got the means and you've got great credit, you may also want to think about looking for options other than liquidating your savings or your investment. 29% of the people we surveyed said that they were going to use a credit card, which, credit cards are great for those sort of smaller ticket purchases, but they often come with higher interest rates. And 7% of the people we surveyed said that they were going to use some kind of home improvement loan, and that's really what Lightstream offers. We offer unsecured loans to people with great credit, and our interest rates start at 4.29% and no fees. So much more attractive than, say, using a credit card.
How did you guys get in the business of doing this? This is kind of a unique thing because that's pretty specific to help people with financing a home improvement project. How did Lightstream get involved in doing that?
So Lightstream's part of SunTrust Bank, and we're a nationwide lender offering loans for just about anything. But home improvement is one of our single biggest categories. We're one of the largest swimming pool lenders in the country. And it's really about, our business is built around providing a great loan experience for people with good credit. They can apply online, get a credit decision within an hour or two, and have up to $100,000 put in their checking account as quickly as the same day. So it's very simple, it's a very transparent process, and it's very fast. And so we've funded over $5 billion in the last 4 years.
That's awesome. Now, maybe people listening are thinking, I got so many little projects I could do around the house. If they were only going to do one project at a time, where would you say is the place that could increase the value of their home the most by tackling that outdated project?
It really depends. I mean, as I see some of the data from that same Harvard study, most home improvement projects are really about lifestyle. Right, so if you're going to live in your home for a while, and maybe you've just moved in, you bought a home, and you don't like the kitchen, or you want to finish the basement, it's really about doing the things that are going to make you comfortable and happy in your home. I couldn't tell you sort of which projects sort of add the most value, but I think it's for most consumers, it's about their lifestyle. Where do they want to spend their time with their family and friends? They should tackle those projects that are going to make their house the place that they want to spend time in and enjoy themselves. That's
cool. And I can tell you, I've seen some home improvement shows where they'll have these experts come in and they'll do the remodel to flip the home and sell it, and then they end up saying, I love the home so much, I want to keep it now. So that could happen too if you're saying, hey, I'm gonna get this loan, I'm gonna get some money saved up, or however you're gonna do it, but I'm gonna make these changes in my home so we can sell it. You might make the changes and say, I kind of like it the way it is now, I want to stay.
I've had that same experience where, the house you sell is never as great as that last day. You fix it up, you put all the money and time into it, and then you sell it. I'm like, geez, why didn't we do that earlier so we could have enjoyed it?
Oh, I've done that too. I had a little honeydew project that I didn't do until like 2 weeks before we sold the home. So if you've got some of those on your list, maybe now is the time to honeydew those.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time to chat with us, Todd. It's been a lot of fun to visit. If people would like to get more information about what you guys offer at Lightstream, where do they go to find you online?
Lightstream.com. There you can see exactly how our rate structure is set up. You can see our rates and terms. You can also, on our blog, find information about home improvement projects.
That sounds great. Thank you again, sir. I appreciate taking the time to chat.
Thanks, John. Have a great day.
You too. Again, Todd Nelson, Senior Vice President of Lightstream. And again, their website, lightstream.com.
John and Heidi.
It's almost graduation time. If you have a son or daughter finishing high school, you need to hear this. They can go to college without racking up a pile of student loans. Matthew Einstone did. He saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for your kids or for yourself. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20% at freeeducationuniversity.com. That's freeeducationuniversity.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The 1936 cover of the first issue of Life magazine had a doctor slapping a newborn baby's bottom, and there was a caption that said, "Life begins." That's really cool.
That is cool.
That's how they
It's
started.
a good idea.
Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Easter is the first Sunday after the first full moon after March 21st. So for those of you wondering how they figure out which Sunday is Easter, now you know. That's still confusing. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
When England and the American colonies adopted the Gregorian calendar, it was on September 14th, 1752, 11 days disappeared. So when they adopted that calendar, they were like, well, these 11 days didn't happen. So there you go. And fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
If you add up the numbers 1 through 100 consecutively, so like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4
Right.
plus 5, the total is 5,050.
Oh.
That's what it adds up to. 1 through 100. If you add all
Interesting.
of those up, the total is 50-50. 5,000.
Who needs to know that?
Well, I think that's pretty cool. I
Okay.
don't know. It's not that I need to know. Just it's kind of fun to know. It's going to do it for your fun facts on this April Fool's Day, the first day of April.
John and Heidi.
Are you tired of the same old 9-to-5 rat race? Sick of not controlling your financial destiny? We partner with a leading health company whose mission is to support you to build a home-based business and help others be healthier, drop excess pounds, and live longer, more rewarding lives. Best of all, everyone who joins after you is placed on your team. No bugging family or friends. Call 866-741-7242 for more information. Or if you like, text the word income to the same number, 866-741-7242. 866-741-7242.
John and Heidi.
Fadi Mansour wanted to go to Europe, but he was afraid of the sea, so instead of taking a boat there, he decided to follow a smuggler's advice. The smuggler said, hey, all you got to do is fly from Istanbul to Malaysia, where Syrians can still enter without a visa, and they can try to get on a flight to Europe from there. Well, a year later, he wishes that he would have just turned back time and not left at all. He's been living at the Istanbul airport. He's not allowed to go any further without a passport, and he's not allowed to go back to Lebanon. So he's stuck at the airport now, and he's been there over a year. This guy's sitting there like, I can't go anywhere. So now he's really wishing that maybe he hadn't done that.
Oh my god!
Wouldn't that be awful?
That would be
There was a
terrible.
movie a couple years ago. I think it was called Terminal, wasn't it? With Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
And his character lived in and was it a similar situation? Is that kind of
No,
why?
I think he just wanted to live at the airport.
Oh, I think there was a reason. I think
I
he
don't
was
know.
stuck there. I remember watching it, but I was very...
I wasn't interested enough in it to pay attention to the storyline.
And I believe
it was one of his worst movies, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it was bad. I think I fell asleep about 20 minutes into it. Then I woke up at the very end. I was like, I wonder what happened in the middle there. That's probably the most important part. But I better get this movie back before I get a late fee. So, I don't know. Anyway, this dude, Fadi Mansour, again, stuck at the airport in Istanbul, not allowed to go forward because he doesn't have a passport, not allowed to go back to Lebanon either, so he's just kind of stuck there. So that is kind of crazy, and it makes you really happy. Next time you go like traveling, just be thankful when you get there. Even if you get there late, yeah, it's not going to take you a year. I'm pretty darn sure of it.
John and Heidi.
How much do you pay for cable or satellite? Don't forget your DVR rental fees and online movie accounts. When you add it all up, many people are paying well over $100 a month. Some pay way more. What if you could cut that down to zero? There's a device that surfs the net to find shows and programs you like with no monthly fee. Many have already cut their cable or tossed out their dish. If you have internet and a TV, you're all set. Learn more about this awesome technology that can save you money every month at channelsurfertv.com. Use promo code RADIO to save 25% at channelsurfertv.com. Some crooks get scared straight. Listen to this one. 22-year-old Joshua Crowley of Camas, Washington, probably was a little bit embarrassed. Recently robbed a local KFC at knife point. While the robbery went smoothly enough, the getaway was not so smooth. When the manager ran out and alerted passersby, one gave chase. The 22-year-old knife-wielding Joshua was quickly captured, subdued, and held for police by a 66-year-old Mary Chamberlain. This 22-year-old tough guy was held,
That's awesome.
subdued, captured, and held for the police by a 66-year-old woman.
You know, honestly, I think a lot of that was he probably didn't want to hurt an old lady.
Well, wait a minute. Old lady? 66 is not an old lady.
To a 22-year-old
well,
it is.
Yeah, I suppose it is if you're 22.
Yeah.
So this punk kid, she gave him the smackdown. I would love to see if there was like video surveillance of that. I don't know why. I just think that would be fun to see. Anyway, maybe that'll help this kid get it on the straight and narrow. Coming up, we're going to talk about some other fun stuff right here on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you want to percolate new friends or make your spouse see things your way or help a stubborn coworker loosen up and come around to your way of thinking, maybe treat him to a little bit of coffee, complete with a refill. New research says a moderate amount of caffeine, such as that found in 2 cups of coffee, increases the ability to be influenced. The European Journal of Social Psychology, there's a study there that proves that people are more susceptible to suggestions first thing in the morning. A strong brew gives you a double shot at peddling your influence. So, for those of you that are, doing sales and you're saying, "Hey, I gotta make this sales call really count," do it early and feed them 2 cups of coffee before you ask them to buy anything, according to that study. So,
okay,
if we start getting salesmen making appointments here to talk to us early in the morning, we'll know what they're up to. So that, again, is from the Journal of Social Psychology. So it's interesting how all of that stuff works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it just me?
Sure.
All right. You don't seem interested in even being here today. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend.
John and Heidi.
It's almost graduation time. If you have a son or daughter finishing high school, you need to hear this. They can go to college without racking up a pile of student loans. Matthew Einstein did. He saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for your kids or for yourself. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20% at freeeducationuniversity.com. That's freeeducationuniversity.com.
John and Heidi.
What is the easiest way to boost your mood? Well, you're supposed to go for a walk. A new study from Iowa State University says researchers found that a 12-minute walk improved your mood and helped eliminate feelings of boredom and dread, even when the walkers were not expecting any benefits. So they were like, hey, I'm just going to go for a walk. I'm not expecting anything. And when they got back, they felt better. It says when people walk, this indirectly activates your body and your brain's mechanism associated with active reward seeking, which includes feelings of vigor, energy, and enthusiasm. This is according to the study of the author of the study, and that is Zalton Krizin, PhD. I'm sure I nailed that name. And growing your circle of friends could shrink your waistline. It says here, when mice were moved from an environment where they had few pals to one where they shared with 15 or 20 rodent roommates, they shed 50% of their belly fat within 4 weeks. This is according to the Cell Metabolism Journal. Somehow, the more engaging environment caused white fat, the stuff that causes pudge, to turn into brown fat, the type that burns calories. So they're saying humans also have both kinds of fat. More research is needed to determine why this happens, but stepping up your social life might actually pay off on the scale. So that's good news. And that's not going to work. She's trying to make me laugh. I'm not going to laugh. Hey, we got some good news coming your way in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
And we always try to wrap things up around here with some good news. And I think this is pretty darn good news. People who quit smoking all at once are more likely to be successful than those who cut down on cigarettes gradually. According to NBC News, there's a report that says researchers randomly assigned almost 700 adult smokers to either an abrupt quitting or a gradual reduction group. In the gradual group, the nurse created a reduction schedule for participants to cut back on cigarettes by 75% over 2 weeks and provided participants with nicotine patches and a choice of short-acting nicotine replacement items. In the abrupt quitting group, the participants were also given nicotine patches but no other items. 4 weeks later, Heidi, 40% of the gradual group were still not smoking, compared to 49% of the abrupt quitting group. As verified by chemical breath analysis, by 6 months, 15% of the gradual quitters and 22% of the abrupt quitters were still abstaining from cigarettes. So they're saying, if you really, truly want to quit smoking...
Quit cold turkey.
They're saying just turn
be
it
done.
off.
Yeah.
Be done. For those of you who are
Go
saying,
through
well,
withdrawal,
I'm going to
and then
cut
you'll be
back.
fine.
I'm going to wean down to, 2 packs a day. If you're weaning down to that, how many are you doing now? But I'm going to start, gradually. the odds of you quitting fully are way worse than if you just say, I'm done. And I got to tell you, I was so proud of my mother. It's what is it, 10 years ago at least now?
Oh, at least.
First of all, my father quit smoking when he was 49, the day he died. That's when he quit. But my mother, shortly after that, she was still smoking, even after it killed my dad. She continued to smoke. But then 1 year she's Catholic, and 1 year at Lent, she said, you know what? I'm giving up smoking for Lent. And then she just never went back. And I asked her, was it hard? She's like, well, it was the first couple weeks. She's like, no, I have no interest whatsoever. So I think that's really cool. So, Mama, I'm proud of you. And if you're trying to quit smoking, there's some good information. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.